Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing and testing the cheapest tower cooler with 2 copper heat pipes, costing only $4. To see how well it performs, I'll be running tests and comparing it to a regular heatsink. The cooler is manufactured by some little-known Chinese company. The cooler model is called C200. It looks very much like a copy of the Seasonic C200. They have the same heat sinks, but the Seasonic cooler is slightly larger. The Seasonic dissipates 95 watts of heat, while my copy dissipates 100. According to the small markings on the box, the tower cooler is compatible with the following socket types. I'll be installing it on an LGA 1150 inches socket. The kit includes 4 transparent clips, pins, and a bit of GD900 thermal paste. A frame that holds the heatsink for motherboards based on Intel processors. A white translucent cooler. It measures 80 by 80 millimeters. It is powered by a 4-wire cable approximately 20 centimeters long. The LED backlighting cannot be switched off. For its price of $4, this tower cooler heatsink looks quite good. The heatsink is very lightweight, so it won't put any strain on the motherboard or socket. Additionally, there's a rigid spring-loaded bracket with latches at the bottom. The fan is secured to the heatsink with 2 brackets. I'll be comparing the tower cooler to the cheapest regular cooler that came with the Intel Pentium G3220 processor, which had a TDP of 53 watts. This heatsink is very thin, but it did a good job cooling this processor. But in our test, we'll be using these heatsinks to cool the Intel Xeon E3 1220V3 processor. This is a quad-core processor with a stated TDP of 80 watts, but I've never seen such power. The maximum I've seen is 72 watts. If the room isn't too hot, and the processor is running at 100% load, then its temperature rises to 81 degrees Celsius after running for more than 5 minutes. In the summer, on very hot days, the temperature could rise to 83 degrees Celsius. In both cases, the fan spun at almost 3,000 revolutions per minute, making it very loud. Since I'll be using an Intel processor, I'll need this black frame. The heatsink has a clamp that attaches to special hooks on the frame. This frame has many hooks, so the heatsink can be installed in almost any orientation. The tower can be installed not only at a right angle, but also diagonally. Now let's move on to installing the heatsink. First, insert the transparent clips into the frame's tabs. They fit very easily. After installing the frame on the motherboard, they can be adjusted to fit the holes in any socket. Then place the frame on the motherboard and press the clips into the holes. Once we've verified that the frame is secure, we need to insert a pin into each latch. They snap in very easily. The back of the motherboard should look like this. Then we install the heatsink on the processor, of course, after coating it with thermal paste. I immediately ran into a problem here. The bracket didn't want to slide onto the hook because it was resting against the inductor, and the space between them was very small. I was only able to insert the bracket hook from the side. It was easier to insert the hook from the bottom, but the bracket is still very stiff. Also note that the bracket in the heatsink can move left or right, so when installing it, make sure the heatsink is aligned directly above the processor. Finally, don't forget to connect the power connector. To maximize the processor load, I'll use the program Furmark. It has a built-in processor test called CPU burner. I leave the computer like this for 10 minutes and then watch how much the temperatures rise. There's no point in testing the processor for more than 10 minutes, as the temperatures don't rise after that, but rather stay the same. I inserted the cooler into the system case without removing the motherboard. This isn't the motherboard I showed you before, but I encountered the same installation issues with it. There's very little space at the top between the tower and the power supply, and the catch also hits the throttle body. I can't even fit my hand in there. And underneath, of course, you can't see it in the video, the catch rests against the battery. This is of course a peculiarity of my motherboards. On other motherboards, things may be much simpler. With the tower cooler, temperatures dropped by about 15 to 16 degrees. Furthermore, fan noise also decreased. The new fan only sped up to 1900 revolutions per minute, while the old one, as I mentioned earlier, sped up to 2800. Although the tower cooler did an excellent job managing the higher temperatures and reducing noise, it's entirely possible that under certain conditions its results could have been slightly better. The problem is that the base of the tower on my sample was uneven. One of the copper pipes protrudes slightly on one side. It rises above the base by a fraction of a millimeter, and you won't even notice it right away. As a result, some part of the aluminum base doesn't adhere properly, but that's exactly what good thermal paste is for. That's all for today. Like, subscribe to my channel, and ask questions in the comments if anything is unclear. Bye everyone.